My top five. So this is top five offensive players in the NFC South. I have two honorable mentions before I get started, right?
Surprise me.
Yeah, Ryan Jensen is the first one. I wanted to talk about the center for the Bucks. I don't.
You got to
have
show him some love.
I don't have any offensive linemen on here, and he was just like the example for. I understand offensive line. There's a lot of good offensive linemen in this division. Ryan Jensen is the best in my opinion. He's an amazing center. It's just one of those things where I put skill players ahead of him. I just did. So that is what it is. And then the other honorable mention is DJ Moore. I didn't get a chance to put him in my top five. I wish I could. I really do, because I love DJ Moore. I think the talent really is there. I think can be a future number one. And this is going to be a big year for him. Can he break out, truly break out? Because he kind of had a breakout last year. Can he truly break out again? I believe he has that talent. I really do. But I'll put it there. Yep. So my number five, and this is where I'm going to probably piss some people off. This is where the comment section, because we'll probably clip this out. This is where the comment section is going to get heated for me. Mike Evans is my number five receiver.
Okay.
Well, I guess
number five player. Yeah.
Number five player. Excuse me. Yes, my number five player. I guess the next one is why I'll be. So I love Mike Evans. I think he's awesome.
I do too.
I think he's an amazing player. Probably a top 15 receiver in the league, and he's my number five on this list because there's three receivers I have ahead of him in his own division. I mean, it's just crazy. There's one in his own team. So that's kind of where
that's where I'm going to get. Mike Evans is so underrated.
So underrated.
His catch radius, the way that his explosiveness, he's a stud.
I absolutely agree. This is where I think I just have to do my 4 and 5 at the same time. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Ahead. My 4 is Chris Godwin.
I'm letting you do your list anyways. Run through your list.
Oh, we're running. Okay, cool.
Like that, yeah.
All right, so Chris Godwin is my number 4. I think Chris Godwin, and people might disagree with it. First of all, Chris Godwin was the number 1 receiver in PFF this year. So there's definitely stats to back this up as him being the number 1. Mike Evans was number 6, I think. So it's pretty close. You look at Chris Godwin and you talk about a guy who I think actually opened things up for Mike Evans. I mean, he was just all over the field. He could play inside, he could play outside, slot. Didn't matter. I mean, he was an absolute monster everywhere on the field, it seemed like. And I felt like he was the big reason the Buccaneers were able to get to 7 wins, honestly. I mean, he helped his team out tremendously. Mike Evans is awesome. If you ask me the top wide receiver duos in the league, this is my number 1 pick. I think they are the best wide receiver duo in the league. Mike Evans is awesome. I'm not trying to shit on Mike Evans at all. I think Chris Godwin is better, though. I really do. And I think Chris Godwin... I think Chris Godwin, we could be talking about him as like one of the best. This is one of the situations where Julio was on the same team with the Falcons early as their other dude early on in his career. I can't remember his name, where it was like the end of
You're talking for the Falcons guy?
For the Falcons, yeah.
Roddy White?
Roddy White, yes. Yeah. So it was Julio Jones and Roddy White, and Roddy White was really good for a long time, and then Julio Jones came out and was obviously better. I think that's kind of where we're at right now. And, those first couple of years, there wouldn't be a lot of people that were saying Julio Jones was better than Roddy White. But, history has shown us he probably was, even early on. That's where I'm at with Chris Godwin. That's where I'm at with Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is awesome. I think Chris Godwin's is just a touch better. So that's where I'm at.
There's nothing wrong in saying that. All right, fantasy-wise, would you be confident with Chris Godwin as your wide receiver 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, man, that's tough.
Do you lump him up there with the big dogs of the NFL? The Michael Thomas, the Mike Evans, the Julio.
I would if there wasn't the quarterback change. And it's not just the quarterback change.
Fantasy-wise now.
Yeah. It's not just the quarterback change. It's the scheme change that has to happen, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady is going to be different than Jameis Winston. The targets are going to be different.
Fantasy-wise, we have never seen a Patriots receiver until Randy Moss.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Chris Godwin is going to be more valuable than Mike Evans in fantasy this year, because I think Chris Godwin is better in the slot, and I think that's really where it came down to for me. I think Chris Godwin is better in the slot. That's going to be a more valuable position for the Tom Brady type offense. So I would go Chris Godwin. I would want Chris Godwin to be my number 2 receiver, only because there is that risk factor that's brought into it.
That's fine. Like I said, fantasy doesn't,
you asked me a fantasy question. Yeah, of course.
Look at the situation.
It's funny because we kind of go back and forth talking about it, so we have to explain what we're talking about a little bit. All right, so I'm just doing my whole list, right?
Go ahead.
All right, Christian McCaffrey is my number 3. I think he's the best running back in the league. I really do, and it's crazy that he's my.
Some say might be a little low at number 3.
Yeah, some would say he's number 3. Yeah, I just couldn't put the other 2 in front of him. I really couldn't.
It's fair.
Or behind him, I guess. I I love Christian McCaffrey. I really do. And a lot of people are going to look at Saquon Barkley. A lot of people are going to look at all the other running backs. Christian McCaffrey can do everything. He's the best pass-catching running back in the league. There's no question. No one would argue that. But you go back, you can find a lot of tape of him running right through the middle for a touchdown. He's so good. He's so much better between.
Yeah, he's not just a one-trick pony.
Yeah, exactly. He's good in the in the middle of that field, running between the tackles. I guess is what I'm trying to say. He's really good between the tackles, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to give him that kind of credit because yes, game-breaking speed, game-breaking elusiveness, so good. I mean, when it's one-on-one, it's so hard to catch him just because he's so good that way, but he's still really good between tackles as well. I think he's just a complete running back, and it's crazy to talk about because I don't think we've ever seen a running back that looks like that is like the best running back in the league. And it's kind of hard to just kind of get your head around that, I think, a little bit, but that's kind of where I'm at. I really believe that. So we'll move on there with Christian McCaffrey. Michael Thomas is my number 2.
That's where you're going to get the heat.
That's where I'm going to get the heat, is it?
That's where I think you're going to get the heat.
Yeah.
Well, it's either McCaffrey or Michael. If you're going to have a different receiver be above Michael Thomas, it's hard. Me and you are in a losing battle.
Listen, again, if we go to fantasy, yes, Michael Thomas is the best fantasy receiver in the game. He's a really good wide receiver. I love him. But I talked about earlier about how he is helped out a lot by Sean Payton. And I stand by that. And that's part of my argument for this. I feel like I'm defending when I'm saying he's the second best offensive player.
Go ahead and do the one so people know.
Julio Jones is number 1.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious. Julio Jones, in my opinion, is a generational wide receiver. I think he's up there with some of the best receivers to ever play the game, and I'm talking like the best. I'm talking Randy Moss. I'm talking,
you talk about a Mount Rushmore wide receiver.
Calvin Johnson. I believe Julio is on that level, right? And he's been so good for so long. I don't feel like I should get that much hate for saying that. Maybe people disagree. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I think he's right there with it. And Michael Thomas is really, really, really good. I don't think he's to that level yet. And maybe he will be at some point. And, I did this looking at next season, who would I rather have on my team? And, even looking at that, it's tough for me to say Julio Jones over Michael Thomas. Julio Jones is older.
Statistically, Michael Thomas has all of it.
Of course. And Michael Thomas was a record beater last year with the amount of receptions that he had. I get all of that. And I understand. If you want to say Michael Thomas is better than Julio Jones, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I'm really not. Like, anybody in the comments who's saying you're crazy, Julio Jones is not better than Michael Thomas, that's fine. You can believe that. That's totally fine. I don't really have any argument against it. I just don't agree with you. I guess I have a little bit of an argument.
Talent-wise, I take Julio.
Yeah, pure talent and physical ability is where I'm coming from. Pure talent and physical ability, I believe Julio Jones is more talented, more physically able to do more things than Michael Thomas. That's where I'm at. He
constantly does his job day in, day out. You don't hear a peep from him.
Yeah. Everything
you could want. It is a system error that they are not able to figure out a way to get him the ball more. That's the problem.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
They beat the Eagles. I'm pretty certain it was the Eagles. He took a 58-yard bubble screen to the house. Game over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the last play of the game. He ended it.
He has that explosiveness.
Oh, of course.
He has that ability. They need to do more stuff like that.
You can put him in the slot. He'll be insane. You can give him the screen, and you can take it to the ground. Give him the jump ball. 50-50.
I think that's the thing that Michael Thomas can't do is the stuff like that going to the house, the bubbles and stuff. I'm not saying. I think maybe we're saying it wrong. Michael Thomas is amazing, top 5 receiver in the league.
Absolutely.
We're just saying that's how much better I think.
Yeah. Michael Thomas is not quite as explosive, not quite as much of a game breaker type of speed.
I label him as a red zone possession guy. He catches the ball
insane,
better than anyone.
Ridiculous. Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to put it. And as far as value, I think Julio Jones is a little bit more valuable from that standpoint. Yeah, I think you put it a really good way. You helped my argument a little bit.
So you have Julio, Michael Thomas, Christian McCaffrey, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans.
Yeah, and then honorable mention DJ Moore would have been my 6th.
No quarterback. I'll give you a minute to just defend it.
Okay. Yeah. Do I need to? You think? Give me the argument against it.
There are some people out there who would say that Tom Brady, the most sought-after free agent that we've seen in years, should be up there.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. I get where you're coming from that. I was talking about this 2020 season, and I don't see. I mean, there's to me, and I hope this doesn't come off as brass or disrespectful to Tom Brady and his greatness. But right now in the 2020 season, I don't see how you could tell me that Tom Brady is anywhere what he was at any point. You talk about legacy, you talk about greatest in the game, all that. Yeah, Tom Brady's in that conversation every single time, and most people will call him the GOAT. And I can't argue with that at all. In this conversation for top 5 players coming into the 2020 season in this division right now, Yeah, Tom Brady and Drew Brees aren't there. They're just not. They're game managers. Their physical ability has declined to the point where they're not in that conversation. I don't want to say this. I don't want to. It would have been tough for me to put them in a top 10. Honestly, I don't think they're, as far as like when you just watch the games, like the amount of difference that they're making right now in their career. I get that up here is still good, and Tom Brady and Drew Brees, they have that, and I guess from making a difference, of course, your quarterback makes a huge difference. They make my top 10
solely because of that.
Yeah, and I get that, but from a physical ability, that's where it would drop off a little bit for me. Top 10, I probably have Tom Brady and Drew Brees.
Well, I mean, you're good. That's why. There might be some people who are like, well, how can you not talk about the biggest acquisition in this?
And I get that. Again, they're awesome. I think Drew Brees, and I think I worded it wrong. I think I said one thing that I would like to walk back a little bit. As far as making a difference for the team, of course, Tom Brady and Drew Brees are going to have an immense difference making ability there. Of course. But from a physical standpoint, from a physical ability standpoint, that's kind of where I took it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that short clip from our podcast.
Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content from the Between the Pylons podcast.